you did theater as a kid. You're coming along, and then you get this big break with Scrubs.
Yeah, I had a couple jobs as a child actor. I had a pilot for Bruce Paltrow for CBS that didn't go anywhere. And I didn't know that pilots didn't get picked up. I was 14 years old, and I was like, "What does that mean, not get picked up?" I have a gift basket, and there's a card that says, "Welcome to the CBS family. I think we're making more." And they were like,
It's so confusing when you're young.
"Yeah."
And you
I think it's
misread
confusing
signals
when you're an adult as well. But,
it is, yes. It's also, yeah.
So then when I was 18, I got cast in Manhattan Murder Mystery as Woody Allen and Diane Keaton's son in a scene. So my very first movie role was a scene at the 21 Club with Woody Allen, Diane Keaton, and Angelica Houston.
Oh my God! So you went right to the deep end of the pool.
Yes, and then I didn't know. When you're 18 and you get that part, you're like, I had gotten into Northwestern Film School. It was like, do I go to school? Do I stay and ride this momentum? Because it was a big deal. But I decided to go away to school and study filmmaking for 4 years to learn how to do that.
Right. That's I think a very wise move. Clearly, and it's clearly worked.
Thank you. And then I ended up, long story short, in LA waiting tables, and then while I was waiting tables here in 2000, I got Scrubs.
It's interesting. I think you've described one of the darkest periods of your life was between when you got Scrubs, but the period between getting it and production starting.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, explain that, because you'd think that would be just a delightful time, or were you filled with fear and anxiety and imposter syndrome?
I think I was excited, but also my anxiety oddly spiked a lot. I think it was probably like, oh no, it's real now, and you're going to be judged, and you're not hiding out anymore. But it kicked me in the ass because I had been wrestling with this movie, the beginnings of this movie, that I had started collecting pieces of the idea in film school. And then when I got out of film school, I really felt all these feelings. I moved back home, but home didn't feel like home. And I had this kind of thesis that...
Is this what became Garden State?
Yeah, I had it all in pieces. And then it was the beginnings of Garden State. And when I had that time between, I could quit my waiting job and we're not shooting for a while, I kind of said, well, come on, man, if it's not now, when? So I really sat down over those months in that sort of space and wrote the real true first draft of Garden State.
And this is just as before Scrubs is started.
Yeah, I was like 24 years old.
Wow. What I can relate to is I remembered hating the time between when I was announced, hey, this guy is going to take over for David Letterman. This is way back in April of 93. And the start of the show, because I remembered wanting to be judged by my work. And I remember there was just this, I hadn't done anything.
Right.
And I kept thinking, love me or hate me, I just want to start making stuff. And then at least we can have the conversation.
Right.
But for a while, I was just, for a couple of months, I was just
you were
this
put
guy.
under extraordinary pressure.
Yes,
because everyone was like, "Who?
I'm
how dare you?"
That's my father. That's why I take him to the motel. It was yes, there was all of that insanity, and I remember just thinking, can we at least have? And then once I could start making stuff, people could hate me, and we could be specific about why you hate me. You know what I mean?
I never thought it would last. I mean, it was too good to be true from my situation. The Scrubs pilot, it felt like it was written for me. I mean,
right.
Bill Lawrence and I, right off the bat, had such a same sense of humor that it just felt so too good to be true. So I just thought, I was living so frugally that this pilot and like a couple of these episodes, I could live for years off this.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
And my mom was like, why did you quit your waiting tables job? I'm like, Mom, I'm set for like the way I've been living, like with like, a burrito for lunch and PB&J for dinner. I am good for years on this salary from this pilot. And then it took off, and then it really, I didn't have to go wait tables ever again.
I think another thing too, it's lightning in a bottle, but I think really good shows, and this is a credit to Bill Lawrence and that team, is finding the right people. And it has to be, at some point there has to be like divine intervention, but pairing you and Donald Faison is this gift that keeps giving.
Yeah.
And your relationship, you could see it on the show that you guys really clicked, and you had a kind of relationship that I hadn't seen two young men have before on a show.
Yeah.
You're constantly hugging each other and telling each other I love you.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
Well, I think it was really,
and funny.
I think he was also doing a commentary on masculinity himself. And I think Bill was trying to show, it became the term bromance, right? But like to show two best friends who love each other so much. They happen to be straight, but in all other ways, they're in love. They love each other, and all they want to do is spend time with each other. And so that I think Bill, that's what I think was so great about what the characters that Bill created. And of course, Donald and I really were that. Like we met.
Well, you could tell. I could tell
That's
that.
Us.
Like watching the first season, I was like, oh, they're also screwing around, acting like idiots off camera, and probably annoying people.
Well, we literally met at the table read, and it was love at first sight. And we became those characters, and then it fed itself because Bill would be like, "What did you guys do this weekend?" And we tell him some insane story, and then a week later it would be a version of it in the script for the characters.